Welcome to episode 38 of season 6, A Whole Lot of Wolves. I'm Joshua Buckley with co-host Danny Paletti.
Oh, good evening.
Joining us once again from Minnesota, it is Todd DeWitt.
Howdy, gents.
And returning for the special season finale of Whole Lot of Wolves, the man, the myth, the legend, the Godfather, Paul LePage. How's it going, Paul?
Down is how it's going.
Paul, what you been up to? People want to know.
Shaking hands, kissing babies, traveling the country.
What's been the best city that you've visited so far?
I suppose it was close to Todd when I was in Minnesota.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Minnesota. I would have never guessed Minnesota, especially since it was a lot of winter. But there you go, Todd. Little love there.
I could spend an hour and a half telling you all why you need to come visit. It's great.
I'd love to visit, just only certain times of the year. Well, guys, our nightmare has finally ended. Wolves season is over. Fittingly, we had the opportunity not to finish in last place, and of course, we flubbed that up. So, 20th place after a 1-1 draw against Burnley, in which I think you could say, Danny, again, we were the less talented team.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it was an okay first half, but the only thing that really got me down, because it's all been written before, is that this is a team that we're going to have to play next season. And if it weren't for that fact, I think I would have fully checked out of that game. But that was tough to watch, if only to think about, what it's going to be like next year.
Mm-hmm. And Paul, we got a nice parting gift from the Premier League and an actual VAR decision for us. I was feeling good after Armstrong buried that early penalty. How about you?
Yeah, similar. It was just showing that brief glimpse of having some type of intent, which has been totally absent. And I think it's the telltale sign this season that if we'd have ever scored in quick succession after taking the lead, we'd have probably gone on and done something and probably smashed them. But it was the Wolves' way, and gradually, little by little, they get back into it, and you don't build on that momentum, and that ends up the second half what we've been accustomed to, really.
Yep, and that was giving up a goal early in the second half. Todd, it seems, especially with how the first half kind of ended, that it was inevitable.
Yeah, I mean, you could just watch, even over the course of the first half, they were just growing into the game. And we had the better chances, but they looked, even towards that back half of the first half, they looked like they were going to score before we did. And we just, we didn't come out of the dressing room in time, and they snuck one past us.
Danny, do you think Rob Edwards had a game plan to win the second half, or it was just trying to hold on to a 1-0 lead?
He may have had a game plan, but I think the players had other ideas. I don't know. It's the same excuses you can give every week about how this has been. I'm going to steal someone else's tweet here, and I'm sorry I don't remember who it was, but things are bad when I'm wishing that we could ping the ball around like Burnley was. But I genuinely think it's because we were just ceding so much territory to them. I mean, it's just like all the games over the past 2 months just can't make it stick in even their half of the field, let alone the final third. Just can't keep the ball with anyone. And yeah, when Tolu comes on, maybe it sticks to him a little bit better, but you're really splitting hairs at that point. So yeah, pretty depressing second half.
I still think, Paul, that Jose Sa was probably my man of the match. I felt like he had the goal he gave up, he had absolutely no shot to save. I mean, it was a wide open goal. Nobody's saving that. But I felt like he made a couple of great saves to keep them in it. Almost certainly his final game with Wolves. What do you think Jose Sa's legacy with Wolves is going to be?
I think just a bit meh. That type of signing was one that really just started to show that gradual decline, just that little by little. And he came in and it wasn't very noticeable. He's probably player of the year, wasn't he? I think that first season.
Yeah.
Are you as that good as Rui Patricio, or were you just under the spotlight because you're having to be made to work that much harder? So I don't think he could have come in and had like that cult-like status, and I just think it's going to go away, and he won't really be remembered a whole bunch.
Todd, what are you going to miss most about Saw? Is it going to be him kicking the ball out of bounds, him having one of those or two moments every game where it's like, no, 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 what are you doing? Or is it going to be arguing with the South Bank?
Yeah, I think it'll be a collection of everything, just the madness that comes with him. I mean, even off the pitch, when he was riding his, was it electric bike, just like smiling during preseason? Yeah, that was awesome. I think I'm just going to miss like his antics, not his distribution. Won't miss that. Won't miss those like just decisions where you're just like wondering what he was thinking, but I will miss like he added some spice to the game and I'll miss him.
He's a wild card.
He's a wild card. I love a
Yeah.
good wild card.
I'll miss him too. You know, he kind of got the shaft last year when they brought in Johnson, worked hard, earned his spot back, you know, was willing to admit when nobody else was this year that they were absolute shit. You know, I got some respect for the guy. I'll miss him, but I won't miss him as starting keeper for Wolves. I'll say that. Now, before the match, we got some pretty good news, and that was stunningly that Andre had re-signed, which Danny had been calling for weeks, right, Danny?
Yeah, totally. No, I think I've been wavering. I've been sitting on the fence a lot. But I mean, it was one of the ones that felt like there was a glimmer of a possibility because there weren't really any rumors, and he feels like kind of a big one that would, you know, sort of gain that kind of attention. So I definitely won't say that I called it, but there were signs there that something could potentially be done, and we were all still dreaming that. I think like when you're watching loss after loss, you just think like, get all these players out here. Like none of them need to stay. But yeah, what a fun thing to wake up to, genuinely.
Yeah, I was shocked. And you know, he's had the photo of him signing his contract with big eyes, and I was like, blink, Andre, if your family's been kidnapped. Like something's amiss here. Andre did say, I want to be part of the present and the future of the club. Nathan Shee said he believes in what we are building together and has the full belief that we can realize our aim of achieving promotion as soon as possible. Todd, I kind of thought that he was gone as well because he didn't make Brazil's team, and he has to hold. I thought he was going to hold Wolves like accountable for that, for him missing out on Brazil.
Yeah, I thought he was gone just because it didn't. I know he made that comment on his Twitch stream that he really loved being here, but like if you would watch him on the pitch, he didn't seem like he necessarily wanted to be here every time with his performances. But I'm excited that he's sticking around. I'll be curious to know what his January release clause is, though.
People say a lot of things when they're streaming.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah. But that sets up probably, Paul, a starting championship midfield of Andre and Tommy fucking Doyle. How pumped are you about that?
That's all I'm here for tonight. It's just to talk about 45 more minutes.
I do think that he'll actually partner better with Doyle than he did with João. Even though overall João Gomez was the better player, I think him and Andre had a little too many similarities where Doyle and Andre, I think, are going to play off of each other a little bit. What do you think, Paul?
If that's what happens, I think it comes all down to the shape. So that really says to me that I think those two together, it's got to be a 4-2-3-1. Hopefully that shows some attacking intent by the players that they bring in, because that's what we've been devoid of And it really doesn't matter then that all Doyle and Andre's job is to like break up play, get hold of possession and pick a pass and put those forward players into the game. So I think that's what I'm really banking on, that hopefully it prompts that real move, a new creation of an identity around a different formation that we can actually cement and open us up just to being a more fluid and an attacking team than we've had for probably 18 months now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Danny, there were cynics that said, oh, well, Henry signing a contract is just going to make up his price over the summer. Or my favorite was, oh, this is just like Cunha, and, they did it for a release clause for this summer, which Andre had no reason to do either of those. So I think they're absurd. But do you have a concern, or is that just some Debbie Downer Wolves fans?
Yeah, it's the latter. But I mean, like Todd said, I mean, I think that depending on how the season is going, we could very easily see him get cashed in on, whether it's in January or the following summer, if things are going poorly. And we will want to get the most money that we can for him, which, it's sad to say, but that's the reality, is that he's signing with the intention of going straight up and with bringing in players around him. And I mean, already we're going to talk about this a little bit later, but Wolves should be, a much bigger fish in a smaller pond than we have been for a while. And so between that, just the size of the club, the financial power, and Andre sticking around, that should attract some talent. And if it is not there to get promoted, then, other plans are going to have to be made. And that will include needing to recoup some money for a longer stay in the championship. So in the sort of 12 to 18 month horizon, totally, nothing's permanent. And I don't ever really truly believe that, I absolutely love this place until you have tearful returns like Raul Jimenez and his partner. But yeah, I think we don't have to quite worry about that yet.
And Todd, Andre kind of insinuated new signings that are coming soon, almost like he knew some of them. This contract probably also showed that they're willing to pay more than general championship wages, because I'm sure Andre didn't sign for a major salary decrease. Not saying a decrease, but it's probably a lot less than a lot of these other guys. Does that say Wolves are indeed willing to spend for extra wages to get guys like Raul?
Raul, maybe, but I definitely think it shows a bit of intent from the ownership that we're not just going to go down into the championship and kind of bring in players with the hopes of just stabilizing. The aim is to get promoted right away, whether that's through one of the first two spots or through the playoffs. So I think, it shows a bit of intent from the ownership, something we haven't seen in a while.
Mm-hmm. One guy who will not be coming back, it appears, is Matt Doherty. Paul, at first, we thought he was being left out of the squad on Sunday due to injury. Turns out, no, they were negotiating a contract, couldn't come to a deal, and so he wasn't on the squad, and then scrubbed all Wolves from his Instagram account. Sad way to see this one end with Doc, right?
Yeah, kind of, but it's like it's the second go around as well. And was it all heartache and drama when he had the opportunity to leave in the first time, and it was for a better situation and no questions asked then? So I think it's all part and parcel of the modern game, really. Maybe it's a little shitty on the club's side, but then again, it takes two to tango. At least they're getting it done early, like fucking around with Nelson Semedo last year.
Good point.
Still waiting for that goodbye video.
Yeah. So if that's what it takes for Doc to say I never loved him anyway and just delete us all off his socials, then fair enough.
Danny, I kind of think that Nelson Semedo video is going to be released before all of the Epstein files are.
Oh my God. First of all, what are you doing bringing that into our podcast? Yeah, I mean, that one's lost to the world. Although Semedo, I think, released kind of a version of it. I mean, it's just what a farce. And it honestly dovetails nicely with our later discussion about where everything went wrong.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's Todd. Did you ever see the movie Event Horizon?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Of course
there's
I did.
there's apparently this director's cut, which was like would have had the movie rated X because it was so gory and everything, and they wanted to release it, but it's like been lost, and the film is like so degraded. Reminds me of the Nelson Tomato one. Would have really added to the whole Wolves off season, but it's lost forever. Quite sad. Well, we did so. We saw a lineup that had no Doc, no João Gomez, who I'm kind of glad that he didn't play this last game. Keeps the Atletico deal on with no issues, and no Jean-Richter Bellegarde in the squad. So we're going to play a quick little game of stay or go, guys. First one is Jean-Richter Bellegarde. Do you think he stays with Wolves or goes this summer? Danny says stay, although it's backwards.
No.
Todd says stay.
I'm backwards.
Paul
again.
says go. Or no. What are you doing? Go or stay? Go.
I was trying to get it forward. Yeah.
Why do you think, Paul, he's going?
I think you've kind of got that mid tier of player that he's been that real not set anything on fire. Had like one standout game in 3. I still go back to that Villa game. Was it last year when he played in a 2, and he was phenomenal, and that's all we've really seen. I just think with him, a World Cup, like, he seems unassuming, but I just feel he's going to be one of those players that pushes for a move and will go maybe back to France or a not an elite European league, but there or thereabouts with European football somewhere.
Okay. Next one, Matthias Mane. I know the announcers were trying to absolutely beg for him to move during the match. Danny says stay. Todd says stay. And Paul says stay. Todd, why is he staying?
I just think he hasn't had a strong enough season to get his move yet. I think if he stays 1 year with us in the championship, builds up his skills, builds up his decision making, I think that'll be better for his career, but also be better for our bank accounts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I completely agree. He looked fantastic in the number 10 role. Like, really exciting. He just has to learn. He needs to stop with the Neto heat checks. Like, it's okay to pass there, Matthias. That's he has a lot of heat checks. Okay, next up, Yerson Mosquera. Stay or go?
Go.
Todd says go. Danny says go. Paul says go. It's a clean sweep of goes. Why is that, Danny?
So I've been frustrated with him this season, but I do think that he would be a very solid asset in the championship. Honestly, kind of ridiculous when you watch, like, his recovery speed is. I don't know that there is someone else in the Premier League that has his recovery speed that plays center back. So I mean, would definitely be useful to us in the championship. I'm not certain that I see him as someone who is necessarily considered a key piece. And he seems like another one. I'm very much kind of on Paul's side with the Bellegarde thing, where I think I was on the fence about that one. I think that he's one who could go back to Spain, where he went on loan, similar to the way that Bellegarde with his wages could probably go to France still. So it's more of like, I think that it is likely that he goes. Although we just found out today that he did not make the Colombia World Cup squad. So
wow, that's crazy.
I don't know how. I mean, he hasn't been even close to first choice, but he has been playing in their competitive matches this year. So it is a bit of a surprise.
I think that is there's some versatility as well, that if there is a change in formation, he
Yeah.
can play right back, he can play right centre back. I think put him next to someone much more experienced, like that leader at the back, that dominant centre half, and have Mosquera as like the coverers that have the pace within it. He could be a really good like that could really bring his game on, and build on the strength that he's got. But I'm just thinking that he'll know he's got options, and he probably could push for one.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm what Paul said, and I'm kind of happy either way because I think he could be a serious asset in the championship. But just in terms of what I think might happen, I'd say go.
I will miss, especially with no VAR, his shenanigans because he probably would get away with a lot more in the championship with no VAR.
What I'd miss is actually him hitting the back of the net, because the positions that he gets in, that we've never been a set piece team or thought of like that, but most of the time because it bounces off his noggin and goes over the bar or something. So
Which we saw this time too.
If he had goals in his repertoire, then I'd be a lot more eager to keep him.
Now hold on, Paul. I'm pretty sure he scored a brace away at Arsenal.
Yeah.
It might not have been in the correct goal, but
Semantics. Next one up, Hugo Bueno. They're thinking Paul says go, Danny says go.
Yeah.
Todd says go. Todd, why is he going?
I just think he's maybe a little bit too good to drop down to the championship, and he'll have suitors that'll want to come in for him. I just think it won't be up to us whether he stays or go. It'll be up to like how big of the offer that comes in to either bring him up to a newly promoted or mid-table Premier League side, or move over to Germany or France or somewhere. Even Spain, he'd do really well in Spain.
I would be a little concerned losing both Hugo and Muller-Wolfe. But I'm no expert, kind of like Jeff Shee. I'm no expert. Maybe we'd.
Yeah, I think if you'd asked me a week ago, I would have said that he would probably stay. But since there was that quote, I guess after the Fulham game from David Muller-Wolfe that we want to get promoted again, that everybody's been reading the tea leaves that he's staying. And so if he's staying, I just don't see how you have both of them. And then to Todd's point, I think he's going to have options. He feels like a really decent signing for a promoted team.
Yeah.
A very solid left back to add to a promoted team. And you have to consider the financial part of it is that, whatever we make on Hugo Bueno is almost pure profit, because I can't remember exactly what we got him for when he came to the academy, but it was, a relative pittance. So it's kind of all profit if we sell him. So that's my thinking.
I'll do my due diligence a little better, but that talk of like a newly promoted team or an established team probably leads me to think of like where there's a need for a left back. And I could see him ending up at somewhere like a Crystal Palace even, or a Sunderland, especially some of those teams that have got to build a squad like Bournemouth, for example, for putting a European campaign together, have that depth. You could pick him up for a good, probably 20-25 million, which is pretty solid value. I could see that type of deal happening.
Yeah, and I think if DMW stays, that kind of points also, like Paul said, to the 4-2-3-1.
Yeah.
Because as we know, Wolfie said, I don't really like this left wing back stuff. Tolu. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I just checked the original fee that we paid for him was rumored to be about £3,000. So pretty good profit there.
Good return on investment.
Yeah.
Next one up, Tolu Arokadare. Paul says go. Danny says go. Todd says go. Paul, why is he going?
I think if it all comes out, or it gets reinforced that he was never on even Vitor's lists of preferential strikers that he wanted, I can't see him being on Rob Edwards or even the next manager in if it's not him. So I don't think it's been a good fit. I find it difficult to fit him in our formations because I don't think he's a lone striker, and it's only really showing in fits and starts when it comes to playing in a two. And I probably don't see us leaning in that direction either.
You know where Tolu needs to go, Todd?
Where?
MLS.
Honestly, yeah. I think
he'd do really well at MLS.
Yeah, I mean, he's big, physical, and I think he'd do really well. I think pair him up with Adama, box office.
Oh, yeah. Come on. That would be great. And finally, I hope it's the answer is what I'm hoping, but I have a bad feeling. Jackson Chichua, stay or go, guys. Todd says go. Paul and Danny say go. Todd says stay. I'm worried Todd's going to be right. Todd, why do you say stay?
Where is he going to go? Like, he hasn't had, since he's come in, he hasn't been pulling up trees. Like, he's just had very okay performances and doesn't... We've all been told that he has great speed. We see it here and there, but once he gets to that final third, he just checks back and doesn't do much. So I just don't think there'll be a ton of people coming in for him. And I don't think he'll be a starter for us, but he might be a bench option.
Yeah. Paul, it's definitely Sydney Sweeney wearing like a very thick coat. Why do you think he's going to go, though, Paul?
Again, like, I think if he's coming from a different league, and again, you always think like quite unassuming, but you never really know, especially with the power of agents as well. I think he's gonna want to get out of the league, get out of England, just and find a better fit either back in Italy or somewhere else in Europe.
I think it would be if Jeff was in charge, though. The only one that would be going would be Matthias Mane. All the rest of them would be staying.
That's probably about right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it's time for my segment, isn't it? I'm getting another beer out. I need another one to talk about this season. All right, so I thought we'd just do a little bit of a retrospective here on the season. We'll try not to dwell on it too long because it wasn't that pretty on the eyes. And then look ahead to the championship, which part of the reason that we wanted to have you guys back is your extensive experience watching Wolves in the championship. So let's start out with this tweet from Tim Spears, which I thought was very good. And in fact, I'm going to ask Paul to read it if you'll indulge me here. All right, I've got it up on the screen.
Wolves end the season with just 20 points, the club's lowest ever total. Previous low was 21 in 1895-96 when they only played 30 matches. No worries though, as previous chairman Jeff Shee said in December, relegation or staying up is a kind of technical world, and the hashtag is technically shite, which is pretty accurate.
Yeah, that's right.
He's no expert. He's no expert.
So that's interesting. I know that, Paul, of course, your memory doesn't stretch back that far, but I was curious how you felt that this relegation campaign sort of stacked up against previous relegations. I've heard a lot of people talking about, this being the worst Wolves team or the worst, at least top flight Wolves team in their lifetime. But in terms of those teams that have left the Premier League or the top flight, how do you feel about this team?
There's not a lot to like, unfortunately. Whereas I think those previous teams still had some element of underdog about them. Whereas this one just seems to have been like, well, we're going down early, and there's absolutely going to be no fight or really no show from any of them. And I think back really probably to even Terry Connor's tenure, there was at least some entertainment. There was some goals. It certainly wasn't pretty, but it wasn't some of the dross that we've been served up these past few weeks.
Yeah, we went from underdogs to dog shit.
Yeah. I have to add in a bit of context that I forgot. Of course, in the tweet, he mentions the previous low was 21 points in 1895/96. They only played 30 matches, and also you have to remember that a win was worth 2 points back then, not 3. All right. I won't make Todd comment on that any further.
That's so painful, man. Wow.
Yeah, I think, I mean, just to add my little piece in here, I think to Paul's point, I think the frustrating thing this season has not necessarily been, the losses. I've, not as invested, in the other teams that have gone down in the recent years, but I've watched those teams go, especially my friend who's a Southampton fan. But just the lack of any kind of interest or effort from the squad at times was very difficult to bear.
Southampton.
Yeah. All right. So Todd, let me ask you, in your professional opinion as my attorney,
Okay.
what is the earliest point do you think you could say that everything went wrong? Is it Matt Hobbs's departure? Is it the floundering from Bruno Lage to several successive managers? Is it sacking Nuno? Is it COVID? Or something even further back? Maybe not as far back as 1895, but
yeah,
really further back.
I think it's further back than that. I think ever since Jeff Shee let go of Laurie Dalrymple, I think really was the sign that Jeff was taking more control and not listening to the footballing people he brought in to get us up to the Premier League again. I think like after he left, you stopped seeing Jeff go hang out at the pubs before matches, and you stopped seeing him at least seemingly care about what the fans thought.
Yeah, I've heard that one a few times. Paul, thoughts?
Where
did it all go wrong?
I just think that whole vacuum of power around Jeff Shee, that it just to that point that Todd's making, and it's not just like Dalrymple was obviously quite high profile, but what happened to those in and around it, especially like on the football side of the operation, and how far is his stench, like his stench has impacted on the club? Like, does it all go all the way down to the academy, and there's a chance of losing status and things like that? So, like, where can you pinpoint it? Was it promotion even, and thinking that, oh, this football thing's easy for someone who's not had that experience of running a football club? All of a sudden he's got the best agent in the world, and all he has to do is give him a lot of money to get these quality players in, and it's that easy. Did he just get such a massive head that he thought that was it, and the job was done, and from that point forward, just that's where bad decision after bad decision made, like Bruno Lage, and just that continual rinse and repeat of failure, and same mistake again, and they'll get it right next time, and then rinse and repeat. And like even the Vitor Pereira's checkered managerial career, like versus Walter Zenger's, it's just like, has anything really changed from that time? And it all comes back to that one man.
Danny, I have an exact date for you.
Please.
September 5th, 2020. That is the day Jeff signed Fabio Silva. And I think it's because that was Jeff thinking we're a bigger club than we were, and like, oh, this is a lottery ticket, kind of like what Paul was just saying. Oh, this agent's not steered me wrong. Fabio was also such a bust that I think Jeff tightened the purse strings because he wasn't afraid, or he was too afraid to make a similarly horrible investment that Fabio turned out to be.
I think I agree with you, but I'm going to throw out the theory that it's paired with another event, which is also signing Pedro Neto. The
Mm.
combination of the bad decision that was like obviously like backfired and had a huge financial consequence to it, with the decision that felt like, oh, we made the right decision if we can keep chasing this. Like, this is a guy we got for very little, and we got 2 players along with the deal somehow. and one of them turned out to be great. And the sort of encouragement that ensued from that like, we can just keep doing this. Mendes will keep feeding us these players who will go on to self-sustain our club for maybe forever. That was sort of part of the sort of hubris that Paul was getting at.
And there's still fans out there that want Mendes around. Oh, well, Uncle George is going to provide. It's like, this should have been the summer after this summer transfer window. They should have been like, I don't want this guy near the club at all.
Well, you can dream on about that one.
Mhm.
All right,
Yeah.
Paul, it's been a while since you've been here, so I wanted to get your take on where you stand with Rob Edwards. And do you think he survives the summer? And since I believe the answer you'll give is yes, on a scale of 1 to 10, how stressed are you about Rob Edwards, getting off to a good start in the season, or maybe even in the preseason?
I'm totally on the fence, and I'll try not to take up too much time.
No, waffle away, waffle.
Yeah.
I'd probably be a lot more pro him staying if there was some strategy around it, or that had been explicitly explained. And I think the time at the fans forum would have been that chance to do it, where Nathan Shee could have said, the thought was, with Rob coming in at the time, that it was going to be really tricky to turn this around. Like, great if you did, but really he was brought in as our manager to lead us back up. I think if you had some of those more clearer sound bites, I'd be a lot more confident. And I will come on to it, I think, but what it's given me the thought is, it's got very Paul Lambert vibes to it. That Lambert came in and did a job and kept him in the Championship. Edwards came in and didn't do a job, which probably was expected, that it would have taken a miracle to keep us up. But I think, especially seems it wasn't Nathan's pick. It's still got a hit. Rob Edwards has still got a hint of Jeff Shee about him, and that still goes back to, I just get the feeling that was his last chance saloon. That, okay, Rob Edwards has got a fairly good recognisable name as a youngish up and coming manager. Matt Hobbs seemed to like him. He's been in and around the club before, so we know that. I just think it's got that last element of Jeff Shee throwing the dice and trying to get something that would work, where now I'm just hoping that someone is better out there, and it is a more clearer definition that we've got to get this right. And even though we like him, he's been good guys come into a terrible situation, this manager is out there and we want to back him, because you've got to go with the best man for the job. And I think hopefully they're leaning in that direction, because I just can't see the negativity turning around. And it's only going to take 3 or 4 games at the start of that season, that if nothing's changed, if it's not markedly different, then they'll quickly turn, and we've wasted a whole bunch of time. So I think just for cutting ties with everything, he should go, as long as there's someone better out there.
Paul, would you want Nuno back?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, I would. I wouldn't be clamoring for him. I think it'd be a good move for both parties. I think I'd hope there's a better plan out there. But I wouldn't be heartbroken.
Todd, your name is Nathan Shee now. Who's your man for next year? Rob Edwards, Nuno, or I don't know, some Spanish manager or something. I don't know. So, someone from Spain who just finished surprisingly high. I don't know.
Jurgen Klinsmann.
Oh gosh, no. I think Rob Edwards is my guy, with a huge caveat. Like, if he doesn't come out of preseason with at least changing the locker room, giving the players some hope, giving the fans something to hope about and to believe in, then he needs to be gone. I think they can't wait around. But I think with just as many, like, we have question marks all over our starting 11, like who's going to be here, who's going. I don't think you can switch out a manager and lose 4 or 5 of your main 11 and expect it not to be turbulent. We have not had any sort of consistency or stability in the last number of years. I think with so many chopping and changes, like, you gotta, unfortunately, that's Rob. Like, as much as he's not exciting, he brings a little bit of stability, and he at least knows the championship.
It's true. And I will say that in the fan forum, I think I called this out last pod, that like the guy who stood up and sort of, berated Rob, for lack of a better term, about, his points per game and his win record and whatever, pointed out his win record in the championship with Luton, but he also got promoted with them. So like, yeah. And so like, I mean, like, I'm not blind to that. It's funny, we've been around this a bunch the last few weeks, Josh and I, and I think weirdly I'm sort of starting to come around. Maybe it's just the season finally being over, that now I'm like, now I kind of want a clean break. Let's just start over with someone else. But no, I think a lot of it comes with just, not really believing in the decision makers to necessarily make the right choices. So just real quickly, also in the interest of, catching up with Paul, we don't get to see as much as we'd like to. You said you saw some of the clips from the fan forum. I'm just kind of curious about your thoughts on the three of them, since we just talked about Rob Edwards. You could talk about him if you want, but what about Nathan Shee and Matt Jackson? What kind of faith do you have in them?
I think out of the three of them, probably Nathan Shee was the one that stood out, or at least having some type of professionalism and maybe like a little more media training and understanding of the situation. I think we got it all. We're always comparing him in the light of Jeff Shee. So just the better presentation skills and the more a little bit more warmthness in front of the camera and things like that. I think Younger helped. Out the three of them, I've got no real knowledge of it, but I wouldn't be I wouldn't think twice for Matt Jackson just fucking off. There's something about him that I just don't like, and I think it's probably been a case of jobs to the boys, and like he's brown nosed his way to that position just because of Jeff Shee getting rid of everyone else who's probably worth anything good at the club. He's kind of just been left there. So I think there again, like, the real measure doesn't really come down to even the coach. I think we could just be going through that whole churn of Watford managers again if there's not some proper infrastructure change. And I don't think Matt Jackson's the guy. Could be proved wrong, but I don't think so. And I think in that situation, not that I felt sorry for him, but it was just like it was no win for Rob Edwards in that setting. He could have said a bunch of different things and it wouldn't have come across effectively to at least 50% the audience and the fans listening. So he was on a hiding to nothing with it.
Yeah, I have to agree, and I often think about that about with Matt Jackson, that like you said about having that stench of Jeff Shee on Rob Edwards, and that whole period of time, I guess for about 18 months, where things were sort of constantly going downhill. There was also the Wolves women promotion thing, where I know Matt Jackson was sort of involved in the sort of cleanup of that, and I just kept thinking about how this is a person who, you know, I don't have any particular personal grievance with him, but who has survived the rounds and rounds of culling of people who spoke out. And what does that say about him? You know, we know of people who have butted heads with Jeff Shee and how they have eventually left, starting with Nuno and maybe ending with Matt Hobbs. And I just, you know, again, not that it's anything particular against him personally, but what does it say about him that he survived those things? I don't know. Something to chew on over the summer. All right. Enough about this godforsaken season. Let's look ahead to next season. The world isn't ending. We're just dropping down a tier, which, you know, for American fans, you know, maybe a new experience, not a thing that we get to see, you know, until they incorporate the G League into the NBA or something like that. All right. Andre signed for us. He's going to be a star in the championship. No question. He might be one of the best players next season in the whole league. All right. So a little bit of a palate cleanser. Did this video when he came out, and I just want to hear some joyful music before we talk about next season. Here we go.
Ole, 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 ole. Ole, ole.
All right. Andre and Tommy Doyle sharing the armband. We're all joyful. Raul Jimenez has come back. Saiz has come back in a sort of Diego Costa role. He might play a couple of games, but he's mostly just going to bash heads in the locker room. I don't know. Maybe Connor Cody's coaching or something. So just to familiarize ourselves, here we go. Here is the slate of teams in the second tier currently, and also their position in England and Wales. I will not make someone read the text on that because I know it's very small, but the teams that we'll be coming up against are, of course, near neighbors Birmingham City, Blackburn, Bolton, Bristol City, Burnley, Cardiff, Charlton, Derby, Lincoln City, Middlesbrough, Millwall, Norwich, Portsmouth, Preston, QPR, Sheffield United, Southampton, Stoke, Swansea, Watford, West Ham, West Brom, Wolves, and Wrexham. And yes, that's
not last, baby. Not starting out last.
Yeah, a couple little interesting notes that because Josh brought it up. You'll notice that there are 5 teams that start with the letter W in this league, and this is the first time in 138 years that there is no team starting with W in the top flight, with us and West Ham falling down. And also the first time in our history that we will not be starting either last or second to last. Wrexham, of course, below us by the alphabet, and Southampton below us because they were cheating and now have -4 points. So, Paul, I want to hear any stories you have about any of these away trips. Anything fun for the listeners to share with them?
I just think in general, and it's hard for us over here to pick up on it, but like the championship season, so much more fast paced in a way, and the quickness and the opportunity for away travel is a lot more. So some of those London games, the likes of QPR or Charlton, who haven't played for a real long time there, the they're the type of fixtures that are good to look forward to, because you go into the capital. It's not a ground that you haven't been to for a while. You typically get good allocations, so we'll still take a very strong away following, certainly on weekends next year. I vividly remember a Charlton victory in the season that Mick took us up automatically as champions. I think we took the lead. It might have gone 1-1, but it was when we were able to draw on like Ebanks Blake, Andy Keogh, Chris Uwalumo, and then Sam Vokes, and he came on and he scored. So it's like you just get those flashbacks to certain grounds. So Charlton stands out. There's some good trips as well to more like real historical clubs like Preston. That was always a good day out. You get the train up. You could do a good pub stop on the way, and it was a good old ground to go to. And it just happens like I'm probably like missing all of like the crappy results that we had at some of these grounds, just because you only remember the fun ones. So there's some good places for the fans to go to, that's for sure.
Josh, anything you looking forward to for next season? I'm a little bit disappointed that of the teams that got promoted and relegated, we're not going to be challenging your pronunciation too much next season.
Yay! What am I looking forward to? Us being on Welcome to Wrexham. Hopefully getting a win. And then maybe my attempt to get Hugh Jackman to buy Wolves will be a little bit easier here.
The dream isn't dead.
The dream is not dead.
All right, Todd, my friend.
Yes.
I've watched plenty of championship games, and even some games from League One, as they sometimes broadcast them here. But this is the first time that I'm going to be doing it with any level of investment in the team that I'm watching. I sort of became aware of Wolves while they were getting promoted, but obviously I didn't have, my heart wasn't in it at the time. So any advice for someone watching from afar and desperately hoping to be back in the big show?
Get yourself a VPN. Just so you can watch all the games. Just be prepared for lots of games. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And maybe adjust your drinking accordingly, because some of those games are real early. But I think you just have to adjust to the level of talent as well, maybe just a little bit. You're not going to see as much finesse. You're going to see a little bit more physicality, a little bit more hard tackles, and that's going to be awesome. No VAR as well.
I was going to say no VAR.
No VAR.
That brings up another one that I didn't have written down, but I put on of course the promotion playoff this weekend, and unfortunately the quality of play was such that I started to do a new little task that was hardwiring my computer to my router from downstairs because of the quality. So for both of you, I'll start with Paul, but like, what are your sort of expectations? I mean, setting aside the whole manager change situation, but I saw two teams that I thought our current team could beat. Where do you think that we're actually realistically looking at next season with like a, replacement level summer?
The whole of the championship to me seems like very mid-table. Again, like those playoff teams were all like mid-table any other year, and it doesn't feel like even the teams coming down, like Burnley's terribly mid-table when it comes to the championship, like just that perennial yo-yo team. Like West Ham could be obliterated in terms of players and what they need to do. The flip side of it is that there's some total unknowns for me, like Lincoln, like totally brand new. Like can only remember the like old third division Lincoln before the Premier League, even the last time I'm thinking of. So the flip side of that is you can get a team that's not like full of superstars or has been gradually built up like Coventry was, and it just clicks and they dominate and they take that league by storm. Like really, I think they've got to be aiming for an immediate return. Based on that, I wouldn't be anywhere close to saying or like for us to win it outright. I'd maybe say second if we're lucky, but probably I think we could be looking at playoffs.
Todd?
Yeah, I would say something similar. I don't think we'll finish in the 1-2, but I do think we'll make the playoffs, or at least that should be our like bottom line objective, is be in and around the playoffs by the end of the season. Do I think we'll get promoted if we make the playoffs? I don't know. But
an extended playoffs as well now.
Yeah, all the way down to 8th place. And that brings to mind just the idea that if they don't make the playoffs, what a massive disaster that'll look in the eyes of the fans towards the ownership. You know, I've sort of joked in the past that like the extended playoff spaces kind of gives them an out that's like, oh, well, we only have to make 8th. But if you fail to make that, you've really failed. Paul?
You really failed.
Like that just sums it up. Like 8th is really virgin on mid-table. At that point, if you're battling to get into 8th, you're really not like you're really not up there in terms of challenging for me to be promoted just because it's too far down. So if that's looked upon as any type of success, then it's troubling.
Yeah. Well,
whatever. We're finishing top of the table, baby. Raul's coming back. He's going to net 20 at least. Andre is going to be the championship player of the year.
Mateus Mane is going to figure out how to.
Oh, Mateus Mane is going to be, he's going to be awesome.
I actually am genuinely feeling excited about it. And part of it is just the season finally being over and now realizing that I have several months without watching league soccer. But, you know, it's a new adventure and a chance to actually watch some wins. I mean, even if we're coming in 9th and missing out on playoffs, I assume there'll be some wins along the way. All right. Well, like I said, I'm looking forward to it for better or for worse. Probably for worse. Josh, it's time to hand it back over to you to tell me how bad my predictions were this year.
So let's have a quick little reminder. The preseason one, me, Paul, and you, Danny, all picked JSL to be the top scorer, with me having him 15, Paul having him with 12, Danny having him with 16. Alex had John Arias as the top scorer. Three of you guys, Paul, Alex, Danny, had Andre as the player.
How many goals has he scored since he went back to Brazil?
I don't know. 3 of you had an Andre player of the season. I had João Gomez. I can't even remember what we fit. Oh, EPL table finish. I had 17th. Alex had 17th. Danny had 16th. Paul had 15th. Okay. Now let's go to midseason when they were pretty bad. The good news is I said Tolu was going to be the leading scorer. Paul said Tolu. Danny said Santi, which turned out to be true. He was the leading scorer. It's just that I had Tolu with 7. Paul had him with 6. Danny had Santi Bueno with 8 goals.
I think I was having a bit of fun on that one.
Yeah, and Alex had John Arias with 8 goals. I said the player of the season would be Krejci. Alex had Gomez. I'm assuming João. I can't imagine that would have been Angel Gomez. And then Paul, you and Danny had Mateus Mane as player of the season. So that wasn't too bad. Goal of the season, I had Lima, which obviously did not happen. Paul had Mane, goal of the season. Alex had Krejci. And Danny, you had Rodrigo Gomez. I don't know. Was there a memorable goal this year?
Hugo Bueno goal of the season against
Mhm.
Arsenal. I don't know. In terms of memorable specifically, I'd say more like Mane's goal against West Ham, just for like, oh my God, we're actually winning a game and playing kind of good against a terrible team.
Yeah. FA Cup finish, I said the semifinals. Woof. Paul had the third round, which was the first game. Alex and Danny had the fourth round. Table finish. I came the closest. I said 19th place. Danny and Alex had 18th. And Paul had Wolves surviving relegation by finishing in 17th. And now the surprise of the season. I had a new signing, finishes number 2 in goals. Well, Adam Armstrong did have 2 goals, so maybe you can count that. Paul said they were going to sign a semi-competent football man. How you feel about that one, Paul?
Jury's definitely still out on that one.
Alex said Huang was going to be in good standing with the fans and the club.
Yikes.
And then Danny, this is interesting. Danny said that Rob Edwards would not be the manager.
Yeah, I believe
So,
my justification was specifically that he was going to lose a bunch of games because this is still a really bad team and thus would still be under tons of pressure. And I feel very vindicated in that, even if he hasn't been sacked.
There's still time. Still time to sack him.
Yep. If Nathan Shee has the courage. And just to update us, John Arias has scored 3 goals since returning to Brazil. So as much as any of our top goal scorers.
Yikes.
Yikes is right. All right. Let's move on to No Stupid Questions. Our favorite part of the show. Time of the show where you, the listener, can ask anything about this wonderful club that is Wolverhampton Wanderers. You can, of course, email us at any time at wholelotofwolves@gmail.com, or you can reach us at X or Twitter at WLWpod, or DM either Josh or I. Ask us your questions. If you're watching right now on the live stream, try to take some as they come in. All right, to start things off, have to go with David Copey, who reached out to us on Facebook from New York Wolves. Other than the Andre news, who or what will be the biggest news of the summer? And so I'm sort of twisting that to be a sort of a dovetail from the predictions. What's your biggest surprise of the summer that you're predicting, Paul?
A new competent, recognized director of football.
Oh, from your lips to God's ears, Paul. Todd?
I think the surprise will Connor Cody be coming back as coach, as some sort of coaching staff member.
Ooh, that'd be fun. That'd be fun. We know mine. That Raul Jimenez unveiling video is going to hit hard, baby. Give it to me. Straight in my veins. Straight in my veins.
The media team has a lot to live up to for that one.
Oh, yeah. I hope they're already like planning something great. Like, they need to have the townspeople lining the street all the way walking into Molyneux, and just him and his wife like high-fiving as he comes down, and just confetti and "Si, senor."
No pressure, though.
Yeah.
All right. Drew Freakin asked on Twitter, over-under players we think Wolves are close to signing this summer who ultimately get hijacked, and he sets the over-under 2.5. Now, I'm sorry, Drew. I'm going to slightly twist your question for my purposes, which is to say I understand the cynicism. I was very frustrated by that last summer. But, Paul, I'm kind of curious what you think. This sort of goes back to our previous discussion. You know, where will Wolves be placed in terms of attracting players? You know, we can't obviously attract the best of the best. Those are going to go to the Premier League and other top teams. But we are still going to be big fish in a slightly smaller pond.
Yeah, I think I'm stealing this from one of the more established accounts on X that pool actually grows in the Championship. That you've got players certainly from Europe, Scandinavia, those lesser nations that are looking to a path to come into England now. They're just going to fall short maybe of that opportunity to go in the Prem and play week in, week out. So they look at the Championship as an avenue to get there, either with that team or like certainly a stepping stone. So I don't think we're going to be we won't be held to ransom, I don't think, as much as we might have been previously, and we'll have probably more selection in the price points where we'll be competing.
Todd, who are you looking forward to coming back in? Little Fabio Remontada?
Big Sassy. I am excited to see him. We need a big, tall man up front, and I think he could fill that role. And my prediction for him next season is he gets double digits. Wow. I think he's just going to take the championship by storm. I just want him to be
big,
happy.
Sassy Raul front two with Matthias Mane slotting in behind him.
Wow. Well, we'll just have to see. A little teaser
That's
for
better than sex, baby.
A little teaser for our summer show. We might do a little bit on the World Cup, and it might depend on just how well Austria does at the World Cup if we see Big Sassy back. All right, let's move along to Brian Donnelly from Charlotte Wolves on Twitter, who asked us a couple Derby questions. So this is a little bit for Paul because he's the one with the most experience for the in-person part of it. What time is the Black Country Derby going to be set to keep the chaos manageable? Obviously, in reference to our 6:45 a.m. Eastern kickoff time last time. Also, does the Wolves versus Birmingham City game have a name? With West Brom being so bad, which will be the better derby next season?
Quickly, I think we'll get that horrible 6 a.m. Central Black Country Derby kickoff. I don't think they've ever bought one as early as that FA Cup one, and I think there was an element of TV in that as well, let alone the security things. The Birmingham fixture's just called like a Midlands derby at that point, and sometimes that stretches as well into like derby will be like Midlands derby but stretched to East Midlands. What was the other part? I can't
with West Brom being so bad, which will be the better derby this next season?
It's like you don't know how that Birmingham City team is going to come together, and that could be potentially a darkish horse of a contender next year, just based on their ownership and how invested they are and what they do in the summer to potentially build on what they did this year. So,
or is the bigger one the Rob Edwards derby with Middlesbrough?
Well, like you go into some horrible memories of Wolves fans in my era as well, are coming up against Bolton again. So we got a lot of bad memories against Bolton, a lot of hatred towards them. So you just got a bunch of those fixtures. Like Stoke's always a proper battle as well, that's a Staffordshire derby because Stoke's like 35 minutes, 40 minutes away from Wolverhampton on a good run, so they're all pretty close by.
Danny, I have a question. Do you think the guy who was always in the tree spying on Compton was the guy that Southampton hired for?
Could have been. I mean, that was when Southampton were in the Premier League. Maybe they were spying on us.
Yeah.
As a follow-up to that question, on my own no stupid question, if Paul is right and they set that Black Country Derby starting at 7 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Central, Todd, will you FaceTime me to shotgun a beer again for the Black Country Derby?
Absolutely, I will.
Hell yeah!
Count me in.
Not even a question.
Yeah. Reach out to us if you want to get on the Black Country Derby FaceTime shotgunning train, because that's
It's a good time.
next season at 6 a.m. All right. Moving along to Chase Branch, who reached out on Facebook. What will be your favorite memory / moment of this Wolves Premier League stay? So this stint in the Premier League. What's your favorite memory? Josh, why don't we go with you?
Mine was definitely going to Molyneux. They won the sixth in a row. 6 in a row. Ole, ole.
And what happened?
3-0 win. Well, I left, and then apparently all the will to win left too. That was just an incredible moment, incredible weekend, incredible game, getting to be there, seeing a win, seeing 3 goals, seeing a penalty save, just the crowd and everything. So I'm glad I got to see them for the first time in the Premier League in a game they actually won.
Amazing. What is? I wonder what that feels like to watch a team that wins.
Yeah, I wouldn't know this year.
All right, Todd. What's your favorite memory or moment of the Premier League stay?
Premier League stay, the Neves free kick against Everton, that first game back. We were at that game, and I play stopped. I ran to the restroom, ran back up, got to the landing just in time to see Neves like lining up. It was me and this other dude just like watching with bated breath. Neves kicks the ball. It goes in. We just look at each other, jump into each other's arms, and just like start jumping up and down, hugging and screaming, and it was fantastic.
That's lovely.
It was.
I'm gonna extend the question a little and say period rather than just solely EPL, and say that Manchester United FA Cup quarterfinal.
Of course.
Yeah.
Just because that really said that we'd arrived, and we are not obviously Manchester United on the force that they've been, but just to put them away like we did, and you just had the atmosphere, the lights. You could feel the stadium shaking when those goals went in, and just like clinical finish, like what Raul was renowned for. And then I think I could close my eyes now and still watch that Jota goal. So, and that set us up for everything after that, which was Europe. And for the longest time, I never thought I'd see my team competing in a top European competition. So that really, that's really how it started.
Yeah, that period, I know it's been said before, but just that feeling that that we could beat anyone. And I'll add on to that with probably I've definitely mentioned this on the podcast before, but the big moment for me, ironically, was me sitting in a bar alone, because it was obviously kind of over the holiday adjacent period, and the home win against Man City in the season that we did the double, obviously the Doherty winner.
Yep. 3-2.
Just like the kind of uniqueness of that experience, texting with my friends who I'd, indoctrinated into Wolves. My partner was out in Ohio with her family, and sitting alone in this bar, there was like a couple people in it who were left over from like a late lunch when it started. And then they left sometime during the first half. And I'm sitting there, just like having this conniption in the middle of this whole thing in an empty bar, and try to explain to the bemused waitress, who, like, I'm sure has maybe never watched a full soccer game in her life, like what this means in this moment. Just these like unique moments, like Paul said, in the sort of era where it felt like we could beat anyone.
That was a great moment in my Houston Wolves fandom, Paul, when we're all sitting there like hugging and dancing and rubbing Clive's head after that Doc goal. Just fantastic.
I mean, it felt truly like once the second goal went in, that it was inevitable that like there is a winner coming, and it's only a matter of time. And good Lord, take me back.
Just remember those times where we'd go behind and you weren't worried. Like times we had comeback wins. It was staggering.
Oh, lovely. We wish someday to be there again. Next
Next
year.
season.
Next
season.
season in
season.
Israel. Um, all right. Well, that wraps up No Stupid Questions. Remember, you can reach us anytime between shows at wholelottofwolves@gmail.com. And that about does it for this episode. And another whole lot of Wolves season is in the books. I, of course, skipped Paramount Plus Watch of the Week because I will tease right now that, we might be doing a little bit of World Cup watch, and that might entail me watching us against the world against my will, and then talking about the U.S. team. So, of course, we'd be remiss, of course, not to thank Paul LePage for coming back, and not just for being our guest tonight, but also for making this podcast happen in the first place. Paul, do you want people to reach out to you? Tell people where they can reach out to you if they want to.
No.
I'll probably come out of my come out of hiding a little more as the summer progresses and back into the early part of the season. But I'm on X, and we will no doubt be putting stuff together for Houston Wolves if those kickoff times are favourable when the new season gets into gear. So if you're in the Houston area, obviously give us a shout.
Yeah, you won't be joining us for the little bit of World Cup chat we're gonna have, but just give me a little bit. What are your feelings about England? You feeling good? Is it coming home?
No, it's that perennial semi-final space. I think maybe final.
Well, we'll see.
Tell Cole Palmer, get dual citizenship. We'll take him. Even though he's ugly as sin, we'll still
We'd take anyone. And honestly, to tease things a little bit more, I'll say that Chris Fisher brought up to me today that how many of the players who got left off the England squad makes the U.S. men's team, and I said every single
all
one
of them.
All of them. Yeah.
And they're all starting. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. All right. And of course, thanks also to Todd DeWitt. Please, I want you to tell us about Minnesota Wolves this year and the special place that you guys meet up.
Man, it is incredible. So every weekend and midweek fixtures, someone is at the bar we meet at, Black Heart of St. Paul, over in St. Paul, Minnesota. If there is a soccer game on that you want to watch, they will put it on.
So I assume they have Paramount Plus.
They have any streaming service that you need, whether legal or illegal. No, it's great. They just won a prize from St. Pauli for like a peace prize for all the things they've been doing in Minneapolis, St. Paul, and the fundraisers. It's honestly just a very welcoming and awesome place. They'll open up early for us for those 6:30 a.m. games, and the coffee will be on and the hot dogs will be rolling.
And the Malort will be flowing.
Come on, Josh. Come around.
I'll do it. Hey, man. Next time we meet up, we're shooting Malort.
This might be a bit for next season. Maybe I need to get a bottle. Maybe that's Todd out here more.
Would it be a celebration shot or
no
we lost?
No, it's it's before kickoff to atone from your sins of the past week, in hopes of bringing good favor upon the Wolves for that match. So far, it really hasn't worked out, but we keep doing it.
I do appreciate the idea of atonement,
The candle didn't work worth shit, so.
Oh, that's true. Well, you'll never get your money back from that. All right. Nope. Like I said, that wraps it up for this season. But do not worry, dear listeners. Like I said, we'll be back in about a couple of weeks to check in on early summer Wolves stories and maybe a little bit of World Cup preview with a Wolves angle and maybe a U.S. men's team angle just for fun. Thanks, as always, to, of course, Alex Patakis for producing from across the ocean. And he's going to be joining us on that episode, actually. And finally, a very special thank you to everyone else out there, either watching the live stream or listening during the week. After last week, Joe Deluski from Detroit told us that he actually got recognized from this podcast at Molyneux, which was really touched me. And a couple of days ago, I just heard from a new fan in Texas who picked up Wolves during this season of all seasons, but says he's locked in for next season. So,
Oh, Jesus.
Bless that man.
exactly. But genuinely, that's what it's all about. And we absolutely could not and would not be doing it without you. And finally, as you're on your holidays or paying $2 million for a seat at the World Cup, why don't you say, as our podfather Paul would say, and could say, would you like to say it, Paul?
Yes.
Up the mighty Wolves.